Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the European Masters. We're getting ready to go into game number 5 of the day, and this is a hard one, but a very important one for Macko, because I do believe if they lose this, that's it. That's them donezo, unfortunately. They won't be able to catch up with Illumina. With Mouse winning that last game, though, it also keeps Mouse still in the runnings, technically, I believe. Although, yes, I'm being a plonker. Yes. This is an important game for Macko, because Macko don't want to get knocked out. There we go. You take it away. Sometimes I just cook my own brain. I don't know what it is.
I'm going to take control of this. Macko needs to go 3-0 for the day, all right? They've already made a huge upset when they started out winning, but this is the tallest task for them right now. As Hiprain is trying to explain to you, wait, he's over here. As Hiprain is trying to explain to you, all right? UCAM 5-0 right now. They win this, they're 6-0, and they've solidified themselves for sure. They are only playing for pride. UCAM's already first place. There's nothing that can change that. But Macko, they need to keep the upsets happening, and they need to keep it going if they want to join their Italian brothers makers in the quarterfinals. And it shows, like, PG Nationals for some time now has really been gaining a lot of traction. I think I fell in love with the PG Nationals last year when we saw Samson Morningstar rise to the occasion. Now we've seen makers do it again, and now we need Macko up there with them. But this is, it's almost impossible for them. Let's be real.
Oh, come on, don't be that guy. It's not impossible. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I think there's no doubting that this is going to be the hardest game they've got. And, you know, unfortunately for them, it's a very important game for them. But, you know, I don't want to write Macko off. I think this is actually a very good lineup for them. So it's going to just be down to, you know, well, actually, that's what I'm going to ask you. What is it down to? What do Macko need to do to find this win over UCAM?
Yeah, so what they finally achieved for themselves today is it looked like they had a way more clear identity as well. Last week around, we saw them trying to bring out Carters with no priority lane whatsoever. He just got run over by an Udyr. This time around, they were on the meta Udyr champion. They had the pressure in the lanes. They had the Renekton in the mid lane to play for, and they were just working as a cohesive unit. They opted, they used that pressure. They got on the map, they got the leads, they got the objectives, and from that, like, it honestly just looked dominant from them in fights as well against a really tough opponent. So yeah, there are possibilities where you can use that again, but from my experience, UCAM has been the team that's been the best at playing around with what they do. They have been the team playing as the best cohesive unit as we have seen in this group for sure.
Well, we're into picks and bans, and there's the normal Nocturne ban taken away by UCAM. Hecarim denied, thank God for that. I'm bored of Hecarim Udyr. Seraphine is going to get denied. I'm going to say it. And Macko, you're real chads. I love it. Banning the Udyr as well. We're not having any of those meta junglers. They're getting out of there. See what the next pick's going to be. Tristana's going to be banned away from the side of UCAM. And things like Lilia, we've seen a resurgence of Skarner as well in the jungle. Now that the big two have been taken off. See if we're going to see something maybe focused away from the jungle as the final ban by Macko. They are just going to take the Orianna away from Baca. It's a solid pick, but we've actually seen blind picked in week 2 as well in the mid lane. So as we are moving into this first pick, the Thresh is open, so that was always going to get picked.
I think it's either the Jinx or the Thresh you have to go for. Hecarim Udyr has been the only champion Hadess has been playing this entire tournament so far. So we need to see a new third champion for him coming out of it. And yeah, with Orianna out, with Thresh, with Jinx, not Jinx, but Seraphine, there is only so many meta champs left for you here. On the other side of Makers, though, they're feeling very confident in the Olaf. It was a pick that really flourished in the early game or the early season here with the Gold Drinker coming into it. And then he fell down a little bit, but still a strong duelist with the Stridebreaker. And they're picking it up with the Varus, where we have seen some few iterations of how this champion can work. But with the jungle pull trimmed down as hard as it had been already with these two meta junglers out of the way and Olaf, they are going for a bit of more aggressive one here. And some interesting picks coming in very fast for both teams here. The Nidalee with the aggressive early pathing, with heals for the Jinx, with the Thresh, amazing. But at the same time, Sebekx signature Annie pick. If you do not know who Sebekx is, this is one of his greatest pocket picks to bring out, and he's doing it when they need the victory the most against the toughest opponent of their tournament so far.
Now, last time they played this, they did pretty good versus Mouse until they lost. And the thing that we hit on last week when we were watching it was they kind of just lost the flash timers. That is the problem you have with Annie. When she's got flash, that after 5 minutes, that window is really scary, which she can flash tippers you. But when Annie doesn't have flash, you're kind of lacking the threat of her. So it's going to be down to Sebekx either finding creative kind of flank angles where you don't have to rely on the flash and you can tibbers out of the fog of war or kind of catch them off guard with it. Or, you know, when you've got that flash, use it at a good time so you can pick something up off the back of trading your flash for a good team fight, because that's where Annie starts to struggle. If you don't find, like, if you use that flash and you get a team fight win but then can't really get anything, then it's technically kind of wasted, to be honest. As the bans have rattled out, as we've had a bit of a rant. The Camille and the Renekton banned away by Macko, and UCAM have taken away the Gangplank and the Nautilus for themselves. So over to the side of Macko, expecting them to probably pick themselves up a support here. So they are going to go for something like the Karma, which is flexible between the top and the bot. We've seen it mostly in the top lane, to be honest, recently. So I like that flexible pick. It does mean that UCAM not entirely sure what they're going to be dealing with in this top and bot right now.
That's also going to be a very fast Annie. If you don't know, Annie's own shield gives movement speed and the shield. Now you have the Karma on top of that. So Karma coming through as that flex pick. I would have liked that you picked the champion with a bit more lockdown. You already know one of the win conditions right now from the side of UCAM is this Jinx. And one of her biggest counters is how immobile she really is. So lockdown is one of those things that's just pivotal when you play against her. And on the side, like, you have to counter pick in the mid lane here, but when you never play against an Annie, you're not really sure what's a good matchup into Annie. You're not really sure when it's a good time to trade with her and when you're gonna lose it. But Sebekx will know that, and that is one of the what do you say, advantages of having a niche counter pick as the Annie in this situation. But Viktor, still a very stable mid laner, who's always going to be having a lot of priority. He's always going to be a factor in the late game, specifically when he could be the first on the objective. And Macko's last champion have come out here. It's a bit of a poke composition with the tools to be aggressive with this Annie here, and then Olaf, it does a lot of things, really.
It's a very interesting comp they've actually drafted here. I really like this. It is a little bit of kind of a glass cannon comp in that sense as well, though. Like, if it gets ahead, it's going to be really oppressive. Like you said, there'll be a lot of poke. If this is a lethality Varus, if it's like the on-hit Varus, it still technically has poke, but it's not as sticky. So I mean, there are areas to work around, but you know, you pick the Viktor. Annie always struggles with wave clear. She's you know, not really known for that. And Viktor is a champion who's famous for wave clear, especially once he's got that E upgrade on the Death Ray. So it's going to be Sebekx will be losing prior, like you said, pretty much the entirety of of the game. But we have had a quick champ select error, if you're wondering why that kind of zipped back out. So we will be doing a quick remake on that. So you have a little bit more time for us to have a chat about the game and this particular champ select. So I've given my thoughts. I want to know a smart person's thoughts, though, on this comp. So, Goldborg, I'm going to hand it over to you. You can take the reins on this one.
Yeah, I was going to say that do you remember today when we talked, Hebrain, one of the success criteria we've created for Macko, something that worked out for them? You know, yes, you're just going to say yes. You're not going to give me the answer. That's success.
I remember our conversation about beavers, and that's about it, I'm going to be honest. So these are the kind of things we talk about off air.
All right. So no, it's not the beavers that's going well from the side of UCAM or Macko this time around. It's the fact that they can be gaining a lot of pressure. The Jayce into Gnar matchup, you're going to have pressure in the early game. With double ranged into the Thresh Jinx, you're going to be having some pressure as well. And this pressure is where Cboi needs to be working from that. We need to be seeing him gaining these early advantages, either early objectives as well, so they can't just snowball from the side of UCAM. Because it's a very straightforward composition you get from UCAM. It's one of the most standards for this season. You could have just swapped out the Nidalee for Udyr and would have almost, you know, been as meta as it could have gotten. You got great S-tier picks in the bot lane here that are huge to play for. It's going to be very tough to play the late game team fights if Viktor gets ahead, because you have a comp right now from Macko that, yes, you can poke, but still some of your champions want to be running in there, and you don't want to be running into a Viktor. If Hadess gets ahead on this Nidalee as well, there's the healing, there's the burst damage, and obviously Dreedy on his Gnar. Dreedy, I think, has been one of the most underrated top laners for this entire tournament as well. He's been doing so well into every matchup he's been presented with so far, and it's been an incredible journey for the whole of UCAM as well. Even in the Superliga, and they played in Spanish, no one anticipated this team to get first, not even in the playoffs. Like, everyone was still on the G2 Octave or the Cream Real Betis hype train, but they were the one who took it 3-1 or 3-0. I can't remember precisely, but it was a dominant fashion. And so far, all of you masters from UCAM has been dominant as well, and they have the tools right now to continue that trend.
And are they going to keep up with the likes of Big, who over in Group A made it out 6-0 of their group, as Sebekx is going to get a light trade-off in the mid lane, but that's kind of what they're playing for. Like you said, that UCAM, you know, if they can't get any higher, they are first. That is locked. There is no contest on that. It is a pride piece, and you know, it feels great going 6-0 in the group stages. It makes you a really threatening team for the teams you'll be playing up against as well. And it does mean our first seeds coming out of a fair few of the groups, at least 50% of them, will be undefeated, which is a pretty terrifying concept.
And that's the thing, we always talk before a tournament happens, which group is essentially the best and who had the easiest competition going into it, but quarters are going to be insanely scary and is going to be the first time we can for real kind of calculate the power scales of each region and find out who is actually going to be looking the best towards those semis and finals. It's where it gets really interesting, but obviously we still have a lot to go before we get to those quarters. Macko, as we talked about, still has an option for that as well. And what they also have an option for is the pressure that you can already see on the map now. Top side, mostly in their favor. Bot lane also being crashed right now. So a lot of the lanes right now from Macko are in their favor. So when these scuttles start spawning, you can start creating pressure for Cboi to potentially try and get a double scuttle. You can see both junglers right now. They are pathing towards this bot side of the map, and that should be beneficial for Cboi.
Yeah, I do expect to see a bit of scrapping as Darkrai actually moved over to try and spot out what is going on. Didn't place a ward, he's just kind of bodyguarding. So crap, Cboi is doing a bit of a power farm on what we see from Lilia's more than Olaf's.
You can do that, you get the new healing you get from Grump, but what was crucial there actually, Jake, was that they crashed the wave on third wave, they let Varus back, and he got an extra tier, essentially without losing too much. And he's still going to be able to join this fight, but they might fight for this Scotto now.
Looks like the fight will not be breaking down though. Cboi able to smite it and find it. He does spot out Hadess, although Hadess maybe spots him out as Baca also waiting in the wings. Spear's going to connect, although Darkrai's going to come in with a shielding, and Cboi's pretty hard to come in as Plasma looking for the hook onto one of these members. Is going to temper the hook himself and not fire it out, as Cboi just helping Sebekx shove out the wave. And the fight for the second crab begins. This time though, it is UCAM who have the lane priority. The Gnar's pushing in, the mid lane's pushing in, and Hadess, he's not even forced with the crab. He's going to force Cboi to flash the wall.
Yeah, Cboi having none of that in that exchange, and as you said yourself, you're extremely correct. They had the priority in the mid lane. There's no way Cboi could be contesting this Herald despite StenBosse having some sort of priority. He did not really have it, because he had pushed in the wave is slow pushing towards him, and Dreedy was getting that priority back. And that's how waves work in League of Legends. They work as a pendulum. You push them forward, they go back to you again, and it's always going to work like that. So keep that in mind if you go for a third wave crash. That's why you could see the Varus go for the cheater recall as well, getting that tier. He knew if he crashed the third wave, well, it's going to be pushing back into him, and he's essentially not going to lose too much. You can see the CS differential between the two AD carries right now. Rafitta is sitting at 33, and you know what? That king is always at 29. So 3 CS right now actually is the difference between the AD carries, so not too much to write home about. But what I want to look into is that Plasma has moved up towards the mid lane, and so have Darkrai, and I want to compliment Plasma for that as well. In a lot of the games where UCAM wins, it's Plasma who's paying a lot of attention to Baca in the mid lane, and that's why Baca is always having so much pressure. It's Plasma helping him out with the priority they can get from the other lanes.
This time though, Durkin getting a bunch of free time in the bot lane. Obviously playing the lane 1 versus 2, but is a Varus. He has a lot of range to be able to clear out and farm up these minions. Finally getting his support back, who is kind of playing towards the jungle and the mid side for most of this. Darkrai's, sorry, Cboi's in the area, but I don't think he's going to be able to find a gank. So he's going to just try and turn this into a dragon. But there is a Nidalee on the way over. Hadess might spot him out, as Sebekx just going to unleash the Chaos Storm onto Sebekx is going to get the You know what, Rare? He gets Chaos Stormed. Looks like Asher might be breaking out. Sebekx has the Tibbers charged up, and they've already got themselves the Dragon. Sebekx can go for the flash, can go for the Tibbers. The teleport's coming in. Gonna find himself a stun. Here comes Tibbers. Plasma's going low. Plasma's gonna get sniped his first blood, but instantly answered back out. It's a 2-for-1 though, in favor of UCAM as Tibbers is running Hadess down slowly but surely. Big Tibbers is taken out.
Yeah, and a bit too aggressive here. Yeah, Dreedy's going to lose up on the top side because StenBosse didn't decide to join the fight with the teleport, but the crucial part about that fight, as I said, that Rafitta does have flash and cleanse, so he should be able to get out of this one, but the crucial part about that game, fight, as you can see the top lane right now, Dreedy had pushed in the wave, so he's allowed to back. Because of that, he can TP. If StenBosse decides to join this fight, he's going to lose out on so much CS. He doesn't even have full mana right now, so just a bit optimistic from the side of Macko, sorry, don't want to compare those two yet, to go for that play when they essentially could always only bring 4 members to that fight.
Well, after that, we're having a little bit of a breath, a little bit of a respite, although Plasma just going to sweep out in this bush. He knows he hasn't been seen, and Sebekx flashless, Tibberless, and no stun available. Hadess also in the area, though Darkrai kind of reading something is up as he's waiting behind. Gonna get the shields, we're gonna get the movement speed. Plasma looks for the hook, and Sebekx, like you said, when you got the karma speed from the shield and your own speed from your own shield, they're very speedy on that Annie.
And that's good both for disengage. You can essentially put it on your carry if you want to, and Dirking afterwards as well, but you can also use it as an engage tool or to keep an Olaf alive who's in the front line, or to speed Annie up to really just get her in there with the tippers. So it's about counting the summoner spells as well. That's going to be absolutely crucial for this game. If you go onto a fight for an objective later in this in the game and you do not have flash on a carry, you're going to be looking to expose that from the side of Macko. So in the downtime, while we're not fighting for any objectives, while you have the pressure, what you should be looking for was not to try and get a kill, where you can always get a kill if you want to, but one of the best things you can get is just get the flash, make sure there's no flash for the next objective, and just take that. You already got the first strike now, you're going to be looking to keep that stacking going from this side of Macko.
Sebekx is going to on the stun onto Baca, but this lane is it's getting to the point now where Sebekx will just get basically constantly shoved in when Baca wants him to be. As you see, throws a laser bound, that wave just annihilates. He doesn't want to overstay as Sebekx does have Tibbers, and taking a fight versus him might be a little hard. Although Sebekx only got 2 of Amped Home, so the damage isn't massively spiking right now. Sebekx can get himself a blue buff handover. It looks like the Rift Herald that they thought they were going to be doing has taken a bit of a backseat.
And that is interesting. They actually had the opportunity to go for it, and now they realize as well that never mind, they're just going back up to the top side where they could be looking for StenBosse. It does still have that flash, but Hadess is in a good position.
Yeah, Sten's looking to try and make his way out as actually Hadess comes in, the spear gets dodged out, and Sten finds the outplay. Beautiful stuff! Flashes to safety to follow up as well. Sten is out of there.
How slick was that, by the way? Holds on to the flash when he sees the spears, he just sidesteps it, gets the kill onto Dreedy. Dreedy too slow with the flash. And then he's just out of there afterwards. Sten, that was crazy good.
Yeah, he's there. Well, I mean, let's just have a look at it again. Just great spacing. Hadess had the flank and then had to wrap back around as Sten kited away.
Look at that. That is just Dreedy too slow about it. He thought the hook was going to, or not the hook, but the spear was going to connect as well. It just didn't. And as soon as that sidestep has gone through, it's just StenBosse taking over the lane, and a Rift Herald that looked to be a free objective from the side of Hadess when he was doing it from the priority has just gone right back over to Macko. And that is perfect here for them. They could be looking to open up a side lane with this. Annie is already moving around. Sebekx, as soon as he's away from a lane, you can just be looking to put more gold into this Jayce. He's already level 9 to Dreedy's level 8. And you can make this matchup hell for the Gnar. But while that happens, there is obviously the cross map to come through, and the bot lane is being starved. I'm UCAM at the moment, but they're not getting more out of it. Could be a bit dangerous to face check this river. Thresh hook is available.
Yeah, Sebekx doesn't have that flashback yet as he is stepping forward. Gonna eat a little bit of poke from Baca. Baca running a little bit low on the old mana department though. Curious to see where Cboi is going to use this Herald, because I want to see where they want to inject that gold lead really to. As Sten and Dreedy going to go fight. This time Dreedy has Mega Gnar. The Sten's going to pretty wholehandedly lose it. Just bop him away, but Dreedy jumps in one more time. That is the difference between Mega and Mini.
And a bit disrespectful at the same time from Sten. It's just, you know, we see it a lot. Teams are like, is this the fight I want to take? Now it's Mecha. We saw it from Mouse earlier as well, where they're like, that's a Mecha now right there. I think I'm going to be going in. Where that's like a huge red warning sign. They've even made it red for you. Like, just leave it alone, all right? Take him when he's in Mini. But yeah, with this Rift Herald, I'd like them to just get the priority in the mid lane, either with Sebekx and Cboi, and then moving around with the rotations you can. You have to threat off the tippers, you have to threat off the flash that is up from Sebekx now. So you should be able to force anyone away from objective if you come down there as the first move because you had that priority.
Sebekx needs to be a little careful. Plasma could have seen him on the ward as the dragon gets spotted by Rafitta as Cboi coming in for the flank, spotted out by the control ward in the meanwhile. Could have summoned himself a Rift Herald here. The slow from the Hail of Arrows by Durking will slow down the advancement of the UCAM members. There's a great hook by Plasma, actually means that this Rift Herald gonna get stopped. That was honestly stellar stuff from UCAM, wasting Macko's Rift Herald and wasting the opportunity to pick a few plates up and some pressure in the spot side of the map.
And I just think there's a lot better ways you can be utilizing that Rift Herald as well. I think you could have potentially set it up for the top side if StenBosse hadn't fallen. I think you could have used it in the mid lane to get priority for this next strike. And now you've just come to the point where you didn't get anything out of it, essentially, by obviously Plasma doing a really good job at stopping that.
The hook, the flay, and then the minion wave. Beautiful stuff as Sebekx now got that flash, they've now got that threat. Macko only down 1,000 gold. Sebekx is the Hextech Alternator and the blasting one, so now Tippers is actually going to hurt quite a lot if you do get eaten, or if you do eat it. As Macko just getting himself a bit of pressure here in the mid wave, just shoving it out as much as possible.
But it's just a... I'm kind of struggling to see what Macko is trying to get out of it, because they keep moving their laners up and forth, while Cboi is going for a fight here.
Yeah, but he has no backup. He has to flash as the Super Mega Duff Rocket comes in. The chains do land onto Plasma, and a little bit of poke's going to come out. As actually, so much damage as Hadess gets himself a long-range spear and takes out Cboi. The flash is used by Durking to clear the wall as the traps going to get dodged out with the blast cone, and Cboi just way too overeager to take that fight.
And once again, it's just Macko. It's some insanely interesting rotations we see come out for them. They put 3 members in the bot side, only for them to move them all up towards that mid lane. And meanwhile they did that, Rafitta was just getting the priority back in the bot lane and start hammering away on the turrets. Like, Cboi, you have no one to help you here. This is way too aggressive. And even if you get onto Plasma, he still has flash. It's not like you're trying to punish a member without flash here. It's some very interesting one. And then the fadeaway dodged out by the Karma, leaving his jungler out to dry. And that's
when you
bad,
spam
man.
the missing pings. That's when you spam. Oh, so tragic.
And we talked about it with the comms as well, Jake. Like, you want to stay ahead of the curve. You want to be the one to keep up the pressure, but now you just lost the objective. And it just seems like with the comm UCAM has, with the Nidalee being 2-0 and having a shutdown now, I think she's going to be a driving factor in securing some of the pressure back to UCAM now, already with that 2k goal lead.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up that Cloud Drake as well. Is an Infernal Soul, which, I mean, there's not a single team that will ever say no to an Infernal Soul, but when you got a poke comp with a Jayce and a Varus with the Lethality Varus, this Infernal Soul is quite nice. It's going to be a very juicy thing for Macko to want to turn their eyes towards. And ultimately, it just felt like Macko weren't really able to find an opportunity to take a fight there. Sebekx had flash, had tippers, but with Cboi being way too overeager, losing their jungler's health bar, and then eventually his life just meant it was a pretty doomed scenario for Macko, so they just had to give that one up.
Yeah, and I also think that they're starting to feel a bit pressured. They know how strong UCAM's composition will be in the late game, so I think they're trying to force out some plays here, but with this position on the map state for UCAM right now, I'm just expecting them to start knocking down these outer turrets, and it's gonna come through Hadess. Like, you can see he's spending so much time down in this bot lane, and essentially, Durking doesn't have any flash. Like, he can just push this in and go for him, and yeah, there you go.
He's down, he throws out the ulti, the Super Mega Death Rocket's dodged away for the moment, and the hook and the spear, but Rafitta finds him with the auto attack. He can't dodge that one.
Zoning skill shots, right? Like, you put them straight back into it.
Oh, Sebekx.
Oh no. Oh no.
Just use your flash key, buddy.
Oh, no. Cboi?
Oh, that was a little painful to watch, to be honest. There's oh, Baca, okay. Trading ult for ult.
There you go, Tipper's doing a bit of damage here. Plasma feeling the round. Oh. It would have been very interesting.
I mean, if you followed that, you're trolling, right? Like, let's... Darkrai being spotted out as Plasma has got that hook coming up off cooldown, but he's not going to find his mark. Darkrai able to space himself away to safety. The old T-Dog will lose his life. No, he won't. He'll ping back to Sebekx. As Annie is going to proto belt forwards. And this is a big change that we did see out for Sebekx from last time he played the Annie. Last time he actually went for, I believe it was either an Everfrost or a Luden's Echo. This time he's gone for the proto belt. Much better build. You want that ability just to hop forward. And it somewhat alleviates the flash. As you saw demonstrated earlier, not entirely. Didn't give him quite the range to be able to get the R off.
And the thing is, there's still a tool right now on the map for UCAM to excel more of that pressure. Second Rift Herald has spawned, and I can only expect Hadess just to clear his bot side of the map, recall, and get up to that. Like, if we can toggle the gold lead right now, he's only sitting on a Night Harvester right now, and I think he's going to be sitting on a lot of gold to expend there. Okay, 1100, so still a huge lead over Cboi, 900 gold there from him. So the difference here is just in the junglers, and take a look at the AD carries. Wow, I didn't even look at that yet. That is just a lot of gold over to the Jinx, and that's going to make team fighting so ridiculous for Macko, because you always is going to have a lot of annoying backline threats to take care about. And your team right now don't have any backline dive. There is nothing that's giving you access to a Jinx. Even if you get on top of her, Plasma is most likely going to be playing Lantern duty and just letting her go back. So with this Rift Herald, with UCAM being in a position where they can just turn up the game one extra gear, it's looking really dire for Macko. It may only be a 3k gold lead, but right now UCAM have the tools to make that even wider.
It's one of those things when you talk about poke comps in general. If you got a poke comp and you fall behind, the game just feels almost unplayable. So it might be a 3,000 gold lead, but it feels a little bit more almost for Macko, as they are looking to try and set himself up for this Infernal Drake, and a pick in this unwarded area from UCAM could be a little bit scary, and that ward has spotted them out as the Rift Herald does get summoned up, and Hadess are going to take a little bit of damage from Macko as the Lantern and the Spear is going to just get thrown in. The Super Mega Death Rocket needs a little bit earlier. Cboi has to Stride Breaker to dodge away. The Chains of Corruption not going to find any way to spread. Did use Rafitta's cleanser. Sebekx just flashes forward, does look to catch them out, but now he's in trouble. Everybody's just layering everything on. He's inside the Chaos Bomb. He's eating rockets, and Baca finds himself the kill. Rafitta just free firing off here. Big T's gonna get taken out.
And it's just so tough for them. They're still trying to stick around here. Dreedy face checking.
Dreedy doesn't have the Gnar bar built up yet. It's very close to the flash. It's gonna get used, and that is Cboi's life. Lurking nowhere near. Does eat a zap from Rafitta. He's going to take a serious amount of damage. God. No Mega Death Rocket, though, luckily for Durking.
And they do get a kill on Plasma somehow, off screen.
Wait, what?
Yeah, StenBosse being in a position where...
Oh, hello? No.
Never mind. We might still have more action on the table. I'm just going to shut up and Jake, just take it away. Oh, never mind.
No, don't worry. Hadess is dead. Yeah. Hadess got a kill.
Well.
It's painful. Oh, rocket! Oh!
Does dodge it out, as we see on the minimap. Question mark things so comes close out as well. But you know what? All things considered, in that messy fight, at the beginning of it, you're not too unhappy about it from Macko. The Rift Herald was used in the mid lane. They didn't kill it essentially in the beginning. The only reason they killed that mid turret after was because you opted in for a fight where it didn't benefit you. As UCAM, I don't even think you needed to contest that Drake. If they decided to 5-man Drake from the side of Macko, you could just open up the mid lane completely with this Rift Herald. So Macko, they felt like they needed to make something happen, but they just did it so split. We saw the Annie come in, we saw the Chains of Corruptions, but it was not on the same time, it was not on the same targets, and Sebekx just went too far forward and was essentially not able to get anything really. They forced a flash.
Yeah, they did.
But I don't know if it's forcing a flash in the return of your own life is worth it. It's like laners in solo kill. They get solo killed and they ping the enemy's solo laner's flash like it's worth it.
Let's have a look at this again. So actually, it was the cleanse was down, and Sebekx thought he had the opportunity, but the flash by Hadess just meant he was safe.
And it was not even a flash by Hadess, Jake. It was literally just him pouncing as Nidalee. There was no flash expended.
Oh yeah, of course. Yes.
So even then, like, I think you were too afraid to go on the side of Jinx because he had that flash, but there was just not too much to do about it. I think, as I said, you need to be more cohesive. You need to be playing a team game here, and you can tell they're just so split here. Durking is in the mid lane trying to clear up the minion wave so they don't kill the mid lane tower, but the rest of them are still trying to make a fight here. And here we see the cinematic. Plasma going down, but outside of that, there's not much more to it. And StenBosse, you can just be backing up here. Like, you have no mid lane priority whatsoever. Like, I think you get that kill and you're happy, but Sten want to get more out of the situation, but all he gets out of it is another death to his scoreboard.
He gets a lovely grey screen as that rocket. Ooh, Durking. That's the one thing. They cancelled Durking's recall.
Matters a bit, I suppose. That's 8 seconds you get on the map. No, not too happy about that.
No.
And that's fair.
I think if you're Macko, you're a little unhappy with the state of the game. Last time when Sebekx did pull up the Annie, it was a much better game from him. It's been a pretty rough game from him. I mean, it's been a pretty rough game for the whole team overall.
And let's not forget, they had a lot of prio from Macko onto this one. The Varus was second pick for them, while the Jinx was still up. Like, they had the possibility to take this Jinx themselves, but decided to value the Varus a bit more here. And I think what they wanted to was gain a poke composition out of it, but as I said, they just, at one point in the game, it felt like they started to become a lot more desperate. And you can't do that with a poke composition. Like, poke compositions are created where you just gain a lot of pressure, rotate around the map, siege the objectives, force your opponent away for the objective, and then you take it. So there's actually not a lot of fighting to be had in those kind of scenarios. But Macko, once again, just not playing as a cohesive unit. Like, a lot of them gets caught off guard. And there are still a lot of pick tools in your arsenal here. You got the Chains of Corruption, you got the Tippers. If you can catch someone off guard, then you can do amazing with it. But the problem for them is that UCAM, I said this in the beginning, but from this group, they have been the best team to play as a cohesive unit. They have showed the best team play and rotations around the map, never leaving anyone alone. You can see Rafitta never left alone without Plasma in the background to give him a lantern should something happen. And he does have Cleanse, which is not making the situation easier for Macko. So this is why it's looking so dire for them.
Horizon's focus has been finished up onto Sebekx with that proto belt, so once you do throw the Tippers down, he does hit a little bit harder. But I just don't really know if they've got it right now. Sebekx about to get the flash. Rafitta's got cleanse and flash, so the ability to actually find a pick onto him is incredibly hard.
And you don't mind too much of this right now from the side of UCAM. You have TPs on all your solo laners, so yeah, you can see Macko, they're grouping around as 5 units, a 5-man unit, just to get some pressure. But when it comes down to it, UCAM, the rest of them, Dreedy, Baca, they're just going to be able to TP in for a fight if they please us to do so. But right now, they're just enjoying the solo lane piece where they can get XP for themselves, they get the minions for themselves, and they're pressuring down the turrets.
Oh, cheeky hit by Plasma, but isn't going to follow it. There are still multiple members, and Hadess is just landing spear after spear over the wall onto Macko. That's without the wards, as Dreedy, like you said, getting just free time and free experience. Gonna let to push into this top side turret, and no one's dealt with him. They lost a large wave in the bot side as well as now just losing these waves in the top side. And Macko, yeah, they're death falling, but they're not able to do much as the rocket comes in. A lot of healing from both the Moonstone and also the heal itself. As Sten gets slowed down and Rafitta chasing for the opportunity. Sebekx jumps in the Yoda chains onto Plasma. Plasma slowed down as that's going to be the Gnar against the Wolf. 2 members locked down. Thurston trying to fire off. Rafitta completely untouched though, firing over the walls. The arrows are coming in and it's actually Macko on the wrong side of the map, remember. Rafitta out of mana, so not really got too many rockets to fire with. And Macko still routed out of this jungle as the Dragon's going to get spawned. They're teleporting Sten back into the action as Hadess going to get caught out by Cboi. A lot of speeding coming in. He's shielded up as Dragon's going to do a fair amount of damage to him, but it's low health for the moment. The Dragon remains to be unsmited as it resets. Bit of poke coming in from the Macko guys as UCAM actually need to be a little bit careful here. 3k health onto Dragon is still reset. Everybody's just turning onto Sten. Sten trying to find the turnaround. To the skies he goes, and the kill's there for Sebekx. Macko just find 2 kills, and the Dragon to boot. How did they get away with that?
I honestly have no idea, and I still don't know if the fight is over yet.
Dreedy gets his second Gnar off this extended fight. The Chains of Corruption go wide. Darkrai has to flash away from Dreedy. Cboi getting sped up, looking for Baca. Can't find himself the opportunity to get the kill. And now it is done.
And you know, that I don't know if this is just going to be a one-time thing. You're still 5k down here from the side of Macko, but that is a miracle fight where you get exactly what you need. An extra Drake, a few kills, and some pressure back on the map. Not necessarily to take down any objectives, but to create some breathing room for yourself. Because they've been desperately needing it. You saw it. Poke after poke from UCAM. Like, you would think they had the poker position. But all those spears, Hadess are landing with the Ws from the Jinxes. And they actually managed to turn that fight around in a peculiar way where they just switched sides on the map. They got on the wrong end of the Drake. They were able to regroup with each other with the TPs. And then they just caught people off guard when the split fight happened. So I think that's really what was the most pivotal part of that fight, was they were able to split up UCAM. They stopped them from being a cohesive unit where Jinx was just in the backline, untouched, doing massive damage. And that's going to be problematic, creating a fight like that again, but if they can do that, they can most certainly try and get back into the game. And as you said yourself, like, Annie is only going to get more and more scarier the later we get to this game. Has hit level 14, and she get that 16th point into the tippers with the damage from Horizon focus, with the true damage you can see. She's building up that Void Staff right now. She can become very scary as well.
Baca needs to be very careful here. Cboi will spot him out, throws out the axe and does catch him. Stride breaker forward, Ragnarok on, and Baca's doing some serious damage. I don't know who's outplaying who here. Baca finds the kill and gets double buffs. Meanwhile, Sten being run down by Dreedy. Dreedy about to Gnar out. One last Gnar in as the Boulder Toss connects. Dreedy stride breakers for the kill. And Sten gonna lose his life.
And it's just solo kills at Brain. Like, nothing's forcing them to do some of this. This was just StenBosse being too far forward. It was Cboi going for a fight where he honestly was probably never going to win it against the level 16 Viktor on almost 3 items here. He's 3-0, and with this, with TP, no TP for Dreedy, but with the Baron pressure onto them, it's not making the situation easier for Macko.
Hadess is annihilated! Just tippers things.
Yeah, that's only going to get scarier the later we get as well. Now she's 15. One more point into that tippers, it's going to do more damage. Void Staff comes through, that's going to be the magic penetration ready for you. And we kind of get to see the bot lane fight again. It's actually StenBosse who's feeling himself here, feeling like he's in a position where he can actually take the fight, and he is doing a lot of damage, but you reach this point against the Gnar, the bar has turned red, and you know that is Mecha, and that is most likely you going down with the Stride Breaker.
A lot of dashes. This was just the Sebekx one-shot. Didn't even have to use the flash. I think it's just pro tip belt tibbers.
Luckily, from the side of UCAM, you don't lose any objectives out of this. This is just like a slight warning shot to recognize that right now, this Annie is going to absolutely one-shot you. So now you need to be careful. Focus. This happens in another team fight, you just straight up lose Baron. But this time around...
That's actually the finished up Void Staff as well now. So 3 items on the Annie, got the Horizons focus. You see the potential of it when someone is stunned, how much extra damage or follow-up damage from like the Q is and stuff like that. Also just Tibber's auto attacks.
It's going to be absolutely horrendous. But at the same time, flashes are still up from Rafitta. You still have a front line you need to get through to get to that Jinx. So it's going to come down to some vision pockets you can create from the side of Macko right now. You can get Sebekx behind enemy lines.
Oh, he got hit by the hook. He has the tippers. He can't even use it in time. Does throw it down. The chains have been thrown out. And that is the kill. As Baca getting chased out, as that is all that UCAM needed. Rafitta just firing away with the rockets, and she is excited. Here's the Mega Death Rocket. Rafitta gets himself another kill. Macko, only 2 standing. Beautiful hook from Plasma. Completely shut down Sebekx.
But at the same time, yes, it is a great hook, and I don't want to take anything away from UCAM, but Sebekx had the flash, and Annie, I was about to say it, it's about finding that flank where they don't see you, so you can come in towards the backline. Here, you just try to run through the front line, and you're not able to do that. Exhaust ready from Plasma, the hook, and he just got annihilated before he could get tippers down onto a carry. Desperation tippers came down onto Plasma, and here we just see it, like, he is spotted out on vision. And he's still trying to go in here, try to protofell forward. It's just CC chain, exhaust comes down. And look at the spacing from the two carries in the backline from UK. Baca and Rafitta is just staying out of dodge, and by doing that, they can essentially pick up another kill of Darkrai being too far forward. Their King going down to a flash rocket as well, and it's beautifully played by UCAM. They're just waiting for Macko to make a mistake, and as soon as it come in, they punish it instantly.
Really nice stuff, and mixture of really bad stuff as well. A little bit of outplay, a little bit of misplay. That's how most League of Legends is anyway. Dragon, in the meanwhile, was picked up by Macko, I believe, actually. So a bit of a denial there from UCAM, but UCAM are still on that soul point. Sebekx is going to get himself caught out. Then jumps in, and that's going to be the shutdown they needed to find. Sebekx is going to have to go golden inside that Chaos Storm. Will it time out in time? No, it won't. It's a double kill. Picked up by Baca, and UCAM can just continue the chase here. Dreedy jumps forward, throws out the boomerang, and the slow's not going to be quite enough, and a lot of damage coming out from Durking.
Baca's just doing so much damage. Like, even Sebekx tried to Sonya's that out.
Oh, Dreedy gets himself the Gnar off. Baca comes in, and that's another kill for him, a third one. A delayed triple kill for Baca. It's Dreedy now inside Macko's base, and Cboi and Darkrai have to be very careful because this is a level 17 Gnar. This is a serious amount of damage coming out from him as the wave's just getting caught by Cboi. He's trying to deal with it, but there's only so far he's going to be able to run as Hadess will be able to pick this one up. Macko just falling apart at the seams. The bot lane inhibitor will fall. They've got that Baron buff still for a fair amount of time, and with the fact that Cboi's down for 40 seconds and Durking's down for 20, they're at least going to get a second inhibitor here, but they might actually be able to close the game out if they want.
Still 30 seconds onto Cboi, 10 onto Durking. I think you're right. I think they can close it out here.
Sebekx has no flash. He's only just about to get that Tibber as Dreedy knocks Darkrai back, and Super Mega Death Rocket goes a little bit wide. Durking's come back up, but the Nexus is open. Tibbers has been summoned. Baca has to go golden. Here comes the arrow. Can Durking find it? Yes, he can. The shutdown's there. Now Tibbers has timed out. Sten's jumped onto Dreedy, but Sten also losing a lot of health in the meanwhile. Dreedy just going to jump in forward one more time, trying to get a little bit of additional damage off. Unable to do so. The arrow does connect, and Hadess just slides in to kill out Sebekx. The Nexus will be falling here, and Macko's hopes and dreams of making it out of the groups have been evaporated as UCAM goes 6-0 in Group C.
Yeah, the famous mad emotes does come out from UCAM just to finish it off, and it was a beautiful story that started out the day with Macko where they took a victory, but going up against the giants of Group C, you just need to bring more to the table, and you weren't able to do that this time around. UCAM now 6-0. Really upsetting a lot of expectations in this group. A lot of people knew they would be up here, but they thought it was going to be way closer. Mouse, Illumina, coming from these big regions like the Prime League and the Ultra League. And for so long, it's been a while since we had the SLO really perform like we've seen UCAM do today. So insanely well played by those guys, and they're keeping the streak going.
Yeah, I mean, big pat on the shoulder to UCAM. Well, pat on the back for them, I guess. They can walk away very happy. 6-0 performance. Not many teams have been able to do that. I mean, we did have Big do that over in Group A, but it makes them a really formidable opponent and someone that these other teams are going to have to be quite worried about going up into the playoff stages. And what that has now done is means Macko, even with their upset win over Mouse, unfortunately, that is then done. So they can't make it out. They are still going to be playing a game, and coming up after the break, it will be Illumina taking in on Macko. This is still technically an important game for Illumina. If they lose this, there is a chance they have to play a tiebreaker versus Mouse. So a very, very important game for them. But for now, it's time for us to take a break. Why are you hanging around? We'll see you after the break.